The RMS Titanic was a British passenger liner that tragically sank in the North Atlantic Ocean on April 15, 1912, during its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City. The Titanic was built by the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and it took approximately 2 years to construct, from March 31, 1909, to May 31, 1911. When the Titanic set sail, it carried around 2,224 passengers and crew members. The ship had 3 passenger classes: first class, second class, and third class, each with its own accommodations, dining areas, and recreational facilities. The Titanic struck an iceberg late in the evening of April 14, 1912, causing a series of holes along its starboard side. The reasons for the collision have been attributed to a combination of factors, including the high speed of the ship, the reduced visibility due to the lack of binoculars in the crow's nest, and the failure to heed earlier warnings about ice in the area. The Titanic took approximately 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink after hitting the iceberg, with the bow of the ship gradually submerging into the frigid waters. The lack of sufficient lifeboats and the inadequate emergency procedures led to a tragic loss of life. The survivors of the Titanic were rescued by the RMS Carpathia, a nearby ship that responded to the distress signals and arrived at the scene in the early hours of April 15, 1912. The Carpathia managed to rescue over 700 survivors from lifeboats and provided them with medical assistance and shelter until they reached New York City. The sinking of the Titanic remains one of the most well-known maritime disasters in history, and it sparked significant changes in maritime safety regulations, including the implementation of stricter lifeboat requirements and improved communication and navigation protocols at sea. Myths and legends surrounding the Titanic. The sinking of the RMS Titanic has given rise to several myths and legends, some of which have become deeply ingrained in popular culture. These myths include: unsinkable ship myth. There is a myth that the Titanic was described as unsinkable. However, this claim was never made without qualification until after the ship sank. 3 trade publications describe the Titanic as practically unsinkable prior to the disaster. Final song played by musicians. Another myth concerns the final song played by the ship's orchestra. This has become a part of the Titanic's legend, perpetuated by various retellings of the tragedy. Cursed mummy theory. A persistent legend involves a cursed mummy causing the disaster. According to this myth, the British Museum was having trouble with a newly acquired mummy, the Princess of Amun-Ra, which was believed to have caused a rash of deaths around it. However, there is no evidence to support this claim. Prophecies and predictions. There are stories about prophecies and predictions that foreshadowed the Titanic disaster by decades. While some people claim to have seen the disaster coming, these accounts are often based on hindsight and speculation. Mysterious cargo. Stories of the Titanic carrying priceless treasures, including gold bars, jewels, and a gilded Egyptian sarcophagus, have circulated. However, these claims likely stem from the lack of knowledge about the exact location of the wreck until 1985. These myths and legends have contributed to the enduring fascination with the Titanic and have become part of its cultural legacy. While some of these stories have been debunked, they continue to capture the imagination of people around the world. Please press the YouTube icon, or click on the link below to hear the poem Panic on Titanic.